what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. We are bringing you the first quarterfinals match of my No-Gi Pans competition that I did not too long ago. So if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my videos. So let's get right into the video. Right here, I'm doing a good job of trying to hand fight. I want to keep this match on the feet. That was my game plan, to kind of wrestle a little bit more and get takedowns, which is not really IBJJF meta game in No-Gi. Most people usually grab a grip and then sit to guard and then wrestle up from there. But I wanted to keep it on the feet, so what I'm doing is making sure he can't control the inside position, and I don't want him to have grips on my hands right here. I try to kind of get around to his back, and then the ref is going to yell paro, and then we're going to set back in the middle, slap bump, and go again. I'm also keeping a very low stance, kind of like a wrestling stance, and I want to get under him and try to get my drag to take down the single leg inside leg trip off the arm drag. So here he sits into a half guard position, kind of sits to the guard, and that's pretty much the meta right there. Most people sit to guard and then wrestle up. So what I'm doing is I'm getting him into a half guard position, which is what I like to pass. So what I like to do in No-Gi especially is force people to play half guard, because I am also a half guard player. Most people don't really know that, but I am a half guard player, and I'm also a half guard passer. So because I play it so much, I know how I like to pass it. So the goal here is to make sure he doesn't get on his side. I'm using my left arm to cross face his chin, and I want him to be flat on his back and with his head facing away. So that's what I'm trying to work towards here. My opponent is doing a good job of keeping his hands together, but I'm able to break that grip and shift my hips, and now I'm in the half guard passing position that I like. His face is turned the other way, his back is flat to the mat, his legs are open, and now it's just a matter of time before I attempt to pass. So what I go for here is I take my right leg and I try to go over to the mount position. What I should have done is gone into a side control position to get points. I get a little bit too greedy, and he's able to kind of elevate me, almost comes up on a sweep, but I'm able to shift my hips and roll back the other way. But now he's in a better half guard position. He's no longer flat on the mat, he's facing me. I no longer have the head control, and now I have to fight his grips from my fingers and try to flatten his back once again. So I got a little bit too greedy. That's one of the takeaways. Don't get too greedy in competition. You know, incrementally increase your position and tire your opponent out. I just got a little bit too greedy, and now I've lost a prime half guard passing position. So even though I lost the prime half guard passing position, I didn't really lose the entire position. So now it's just a matter of time of working and getting back into that half guard passing position. I'm shifting my hip, shifting from my left hip to try to flatten him out. I now have head control, and I'm just forcing my shoulder into his chin, trying to flatten him on the mat. He's going to be very, very crafty, and he has a nice elbow knee connection, which is stopping me from separating his right arm from his right knee. And here he's going to start elevating me. And this is one of the defenses I like to do when people start attacking the legs. I put my weight in my hand so my legs are free to pummel, and he's going to start attacking the leg lock, and I'm going to switch over and get into a figure four lock, use my right arm to bring his head back down. So now when he starts attacking the feet, he has to open up this figure four lock. This is one of the defenses that I use all the time, and as you can see from his head position, I now have a deep cross on his face, and almost like a head and arm triangle, excuse me. And now he can't really get that leg because it's figure four. And right here he frees it, but I'm able to figure four lock the leg again, and now he doesn't have the leg lock, and now he has to fight back for his underhook while I'm in a dominant smashing position. Now my opponent has to fight for the inside position, and I'm realizing that his legs are both faced the same direction. So now it's time for a body locking passing position. So I'm going to start fighting his hands, gonna let him get up on his elbow, and I'm going to lock the body lock and pass to his backside. He's going to Granby roll, and when I come up, I'm going to switch my hips, but I come up right into the half guard position. But again, as a half guard player and a half guard passer, one of the main tenets of passing is to be patient. I haven't lost any positional advantage on my opponent since we got into this half guard position, and that's because I'm forcing him to play this half guard position by using pressure and not allowing him to play whatever game he wants to play. Maybe he's content to play half guard, but again, all I'm doing is trying to chain passing positions, and when I don't get the pass, I'm resetting him back into the half guard position that I know that I have a strong passing possibility in. So once again, I'm playing forcing him to play a half guard position. I'm using my right arm to weave in between his left leg and his right leg. And what I was trying to do there was just keep him locked in the half guard position. He starts to try to get his left arm around the top of my head, and I'm just going to start making sure that he doesn't have any grips on the back of my head. I don't want him to control my posture. And again, I'm sitting that left hip down to the mat and forcing him to play a half guard position. So right here is where his half guard is kind of weak. He doesn't have my leg trapped, but what you can't see on the far side is that we're fighting for the underhook position. I want to kind of keep his head nice and locked. I'm not able to really solidify that position, and he's able to get back on his side and wrap his left arm around the back of my head. So I just weave my right arm in between his legs, and then I start fighting the grip that he has on my left arm. And like I said earlier, the name of the game is just patience here. I'm forcing him to play a half guard position, and I'm just going to focus on trying to pass that half guard position by encroaching on him, trying to grip parts of his body, his left arm, and stop him from doing anything. But right here, I just decided to reset and start doing my step through pass. I know that the score is zeros across the board, but I've been more dominant, and I know that. And right here, I start to go for an over-under position, but he gets a Kimura. And in No-Gi, it's a little bit harder to get that over-under position. You are more at risk for the Kimura, but I'm doing a reverse Kimura, and what you're going to see is that my left arm is going to start inching up, and he lets it go because the reverse Kimura was there. Over under is not something I really do a lot in No-Gi because you have to have a really good grip of the ankle, and with people sweating, it's a lot harder, and that elbow is exposed more at the 90-degree angle. But as long as you bail from it or you have that reverse Kimura, you're not really in danger. But that was the first over under that I tried in this entire match, actually. So now what we're doing, I'm still forcing him to play that half guard position. I don't really want him to start playing his game, and I'm not going to be afraid to bail out of the position entirely. Right here, he tries to grab an ankle, I completely bail, and he's going to start backing up, and the ref is going to call paro and set us back in the center. But I'm not too worried about anything that's going to happen. I'm just going to start trying to blitz him with my step through passing and see if I can solidify a pass before time runs out. So again, what I'm not doing is going directly into his guard. I never like to do that unless I'm super confident in the fact that they're not really a good guard player. But I don't know, I don't know this guy at all, so I don't know how good his guard game is, and maybe I've just been forcing him to play a half guard position that he doesn't want to play. So again, I'm stepping through, I'm trying to do the step through pass. I'm disengaging completely and encroaching, forcing him to play a defensive position, stepping through the pass, forcing him to be in awkward positions where I can start to try to set up my passing game. Again, putting pressure on the back of his head, on his body, on his legs, and trying to sit to my hip. And what we're going to end up doing here is I'm going to let everything go. There's about 5 seconds left, and he's going to come up and he's going to try to go for a double leg. I'm going to stuff it, and then he's going to try to go for another double leg, and I'm going to stuff it there, and that is going to be the end of the match. So right here, we actually have a different view where I get my hand raised, and the guy in the gray in the back is super not happy that I won, but it is what it is, and that is the first match of No-Gi Pans.